Trevor.
Trevor's already rolling. Trevor's already recording. All right. And now on FTR, huge guest. Can we say friend of the pod? I've just met you 10 minutes ago, but I'll say friend of the pod.
Of course.
Patrick Raby in the Reds organization, career wins record holder at Vanderbilt on the mound, 2019 national champ. Am I leaving anything out that's like cooler than that?
I played for USA Baseball.
And USA Baseball.
There we
go. I would say,
Wow.
I would say that is cooler, and I completely just dropped.
Hey, we played on that field though.
Hey, yeah, we played. So does that count for anything? We played on the field.
Oh, of course.
And Carey. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you think your D1 World Series was a big deal? We were at the D2 World Series. So how about that?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
My first question: why do you not go by Steven?
I don't even know, honestly. I don't think I ever had a choice.
Really? Everybody just call you Pat?
Well, honestly, I would say Patrick's probably the last thing anybody calls me for the most part. Just like around baseball, everybody's calling me by nickname, whether it's Raby or just like Patty, something like, I don't know. It kind of varies from person to person, but honestly, I don't even know myself. I wish I even had an answer for you.
What would you say your least favorite thing you've ever been called is? I heard Patty, and I was like, are you a Patty guy? Are you fine with Patty?
I mean, I'm not too picky. I mean, Patty's probably not my favorite, but I mean, honestly, I don't know. I feel like I had a pretty annoying one back in the day that I'm blanking on. But for right now, for answer's sake, we'll go with Patty.
Ruby Raby, maybe?
Ruby.
All right. So a serious question, though. And we have to live vicariously through the people we talk to because we lived in the D2 world. Just give me a day in the life of a Vanderbilt baseball player. What does that look like?
So in my time there, it kind of varied from year to year. But for the most part, it was pretty similar all the way throughout. But you wake up, depending on what time your classes start, it could start anywhere from 8 a.m. to 9, 10. It's probably normal start day for most people. But wake up, go to class. We'll probably try to get some breakfast before, unless it's 8 a.m. Then you're saying screw that. You're just waking up, trying to sleep as much as possible. Go to class, have anywhere from 2 to 3 classes that day, go get some lunch. Then you're probably getting to the field an hour before practice. That was always a rule that we had. Might be a little bit outdated, because it was always a thing, get there and do your early work, but not, some people just kind of get there and then just chill at the field and they're wasting time. So, I mean, but get there, do some early work if you have some stuff to work on. For pitchers, is going to the pitching lab that we have down there next to the football field, or hitters are out on the field doing hitting stuff or fielding, whatever. And then practice for like what seems like forever, probably, 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on the day and what kind of mood Corbs is in. Get a lift in at the end of that or in the middle of it if we're lucky. Go across the street to the McGugin Center, which is like an all camp, like all athlete dining hall. Is only for the athletes. It's the only buffet on campus.
So you guys have a calf just for athletes?
Yep.
That's a little biased. Is the food better in that calf?
Honestly, it kind of depends on the night.
Okay.
There was some really good ones and some really not so good ones. I mean, I'm not trying to be ungrateful or anything like that, but they definitely had their better nights. Then for the freshmen, if you haven't done your study hall hours, you have to get 8 study hall hours a week as a freshman. And then if your grades are good enough, you can kind of graduate from that. But do your study hall, do whatever. If you're upperclassmen, just go back to your dorm and kind of do your homework or anything like that. But then if you got time, play some video games, do something, try to relax until you go to bed and restart all in the morning. So
you were talking about Corbin. He seems like really old school. Could you just talk about him for a second?
Corbs is a great guy. I don't think there's a better guy you can find to play for. And, that's not, just saying that. He's actually, because there's a lot of hype around him and like the kind of guy that he is. And he's actually like, at first, when I first got there, I wasn't sure what I was getting into because first, like actual practice or as he'll call it, training sessions that you have, I was just like, what the hell did I get into? He's over there like a football coach.
I think you've been there before.
Yeah, in that college sport moment where you're like, shit, like I'm in over my head right now.
Yeah, I was like, how fucking long am I gonna last? But he's over there blowing a whistle and yelling at us like we're football players and stuff. And then kind of as the years went on, I think he kind of dialed it back a little bit, and we'll mess with him and say that he got a little softer. But he's a good guy. He's a great guy. He's got like the best memory of names I've ever seen. Like this random fan come up and talk to him and be like, what's your name? And you see him like 5 years later, he would remember that person's name. I don't know how he does it. But
you brought up the football team, and it's safe to say this by SEC standards. Since the football team, sucks, are you guys like the big dicks on campus? Like y'all run campus, basically?
If you're going on based off of the three sports, I think we definitely have the best track record. That's not trying to bash on.
So we have it on record that you said the football team sucks and you guys were the big dicks on campus.
And you're a Sarah Fuller hater.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard you.
Maybe. Honestly, if you're going based off of that, then yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
But I think I would say when like Dansby and Bueller and Carson Fulmer were all there, it like from an outside perspective, it seemed like that to me too. And then we got on campus and yeah, there's like, pretty good hype around the baseball team and everything like that. But when it comes to fans, honestly, Vandy doesn't have a big fan base in general, and most of them are kind of old in the first place. So, it's kind of yes and no.
Okay. So we have it, just so we know, we do have that on record. You did say.
All right, that's fine.
Playing at Vandy, you guys had a whole slew of uniforms. What was your favorite uni combination to pitch in? And if you weren't pitching that day, to sit on the bench and to look good in.
There's a difference between swag and being comfortable.
Right.
Yeah. So both of those.
Honestly, I think the navy blue, red, white, and blue unis that we had. That's kind of a basic answer, but like I just remember being in high school and looking in and seeing them wear those. I'm like, oh, those are so cool. Like I can't wait to wear that. And then I actually got to pitch in those a decent amount my freshman year. And so they were really comfy, really good material. Honestly, outside of the only uncomfortable jersey we had was our black pinstripes, all black with those gold pinstripes. And see, people either love or hate those unis. There's no in between. I don't know what your guys' opinions are of them, but
I'm gonna be honest. Everyone loved them, and this is an unpopular opinion, but everyone tried to wear them on the show, like recreate them on
MLB The Show.
And I never liked the all black pins.
I see that a lot too when I'm playing the show, but those we just got my senior year. We just got new versions of those. And I absolutely hated pitching in the old ones. Talk about fucking crotch huggers. You feel like you're lifting your leg and then your ass crack is getting pulled down. Like it's just terrible pants.
At least you didn't have to deal with. We're bigger guys, so we had some old or new gray uniforms we refused. and they fit like it looked like you had a sports bra on because it was loose up and it would cover, and then it would get tight around the gut. So I know exactly where you're coming from. Like, look, when I was a freshman and we had those on, my gut was just pooching out.
And the pants would be tight in the ass, but like
loose
like
at
the
boot
bottom.
cut.
Yeah.
like a girl's jeans. No, I understand that the comfort level on some shitty uniforms, but
yeah,
I'm actually surprised you didn't bring up isn't it like the military green ones?
The Army green.
Yeah, no, those are I remember when we unveiled those, and me and one of my other senior teammates, Ethan Paul, in our classroom, we are mostly it's freshmen in the front row, and then a couple of seniors on like the end of the rows, each row. So me and Ethan sat in the front row that year, and we were the closest to the mannequin that was wearing them. And so he had us come up and unveil it to the team. And I remember us pulling it off, and it was I was like, I don't know what to fucking think of these things. Everybody was like, ooh, but it felt like such a generated, like, just not
forced. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very forced. And the more that we wore them and the more that I kind of looked at them, I think they grew on everybody. But those things were also, I would say, those unis were definitely going to be the next on the uncomfortable list for me, just because they were really, really thick. Like on a hot day, I pitched in them down in Hoover, Alabama for the SEC championship game.
Hot as shit.
And it was hot, dude. Like I remember before the game even started, I like the front of my jersey was like a different green from like the rest of it, just from sweat. Like it was terrible.
Dude, Alabama heat. That's something different. Hits different.
No clouds. It's awful.
I got a this one's kind of serious, near and dear to baseball players, I would say. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. You got dip, bubble gum, and seeds.
Good question, Dill.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not a dipper, so I'm gonna kill the dip.
Good for you.
Honestly.
I know, I'm one of the few, I feel like. I guess I'm gonna fuck the bubble gum and marry seeds.
Any reason behind that?
I don't know. I feel like if I marry the bubble gum, I'm just gonna have to be chewing it constantly. Like, I don't know. I don't think I want to have bubble gum in my mouth constantly.
So you're having one night stands with the bubble gum. I see. I get it.
Yeah.
What would yours be?
Oh, well, we know what mine is.
I'm marrying dip.
I'm actually marrying gum.
And you're fucking dip?
Fucking dip. Yep. Killing seeds. I'm an anti-seed guy. I don't do seeds. They're bad for your gums. But the dip's fine. The dip's fine.
Oh shit.
All right. Talking women. All right. Well, before I say talking women, are you in a relationship right now?
Yeah, I'm actually. So I'm not engaged to my girlfriend or anything yet, but we are in the same house right now. So
okay, I'll be quiet with it, and when you listen to this later, just skip through this part. Just remember, what's the women scene, like the woman scene at Vanderbilt like? Is it good? Is it compared to other SEC schools?
Oh.
They definitely
speaking from a like if a friend were to try to get a girl, what school would you recommend?
What school? I mean, honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with mostly any other SEC school.
Besides Vandy.
He said any other.
I mean, it's not that Vandy doesn't have good-looking women. It's just the ratio of good-looking women is not as high at others as it is at other schools. I mean, there's definitely some hot girls. I mean, it's Nashville too. You got to keep that in consideration. Yeah. But
and that's what I was gonna bring up. Being in Nashville, that's got to be like you guys win the Supers. We going downtown Nashville to celebrate or what?
Yeah, definitely. That definitely happened my senior year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a good time in Nashville. It's different from I would say a college town bar. I mean, everywhere else, your bars are going to be kind of, I guess, one story packed. I mean, it's going to be packed in Nashville too, but like you go to a Nashville bar, it's 3-4 stories and every single floor is packed. And it's going to, every time you go to the rooftop too, and it's going to take you a good 30 minutes to an hour to get up there just to do what you would do on the first couple of floors too. It's just,
it would take
kind of insane.
It would even take you a couple
Yeah,
hours.
I was about to say you guys
like,
didn't have to skip the line or nothing.
And when y'all won the Super, you were the winning pitcher in that decisive Game 3. So, like, did you not get like all the good treatment that night? It's like, listen, I just won us. We're in the World Series now. Let me cut the line.
Well, I'll definitely have to say I snaked a win from our starting pitcher that day, but
I was gonna get to that because I was looking at the box score and I was like, okay, where did he pitch here? And I saw you went 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. Y'all were beating Duke pretty bad at the time, and I was like,
we whooped them that day, but that's because they whooped us the first game, so I guess we had to get even.
Yeah, y'all rocked them. I remember watching that Super, and I was like, "Is Duke gonna do this?" And then y'all didn't even like leave any doubt after Game 2 and Game 3. But
yeah,
everyone loves a good sneak and a win story, and I think that's the most impressive like win that you can sneak ever is to go into the World Series and take it from Duke. So that was awesome.
It is. It was kind of cool. I mean, I don't think there was a lot of other people kind of put priority on that, but just personally, I thought it was pretty cool.
What other offers did you have coming out of high school, and like what made you pick Vandy over the other schools?
So I actually only had 3 offers coming out of high school. I wasn't like I guess like a big name like a lot of guys like Kumar, and Jack Leiter, like all those guys who were getting draft recognition and stuff like that out of high school. So being from Knoxville, I went to Farragut High School, which is like a big baseball high school. Like they have, I think, 10 state championships now. It's just like public school wise, it's definitely the place you want to go to for baseball in Knoxville. And I mean, in my opinion, I think that could be a little bit of bias, but I have my 3 offers were Vandy, UT, and Tennessee Tech. To be completely honest, I never really wanted to go to Tennessee Tech. It was just kind of one of those that I wanted to be an SEC guy if I could, if the option was there. And
who wouldn't?
Yeah,
I didn't want to burn a bridge with Tennessee Tech because it's one of those you never know what was going to happen. So I went on a visit there, and they ended up being really good too. So props to them. I think my senior year, they lost all their good guys, but.
Right. Did you ever how close are you to Lipscomb? I went to USC Upstate out of high school, and Lipscomb was in our conference, and we went up there to Tennessee a lot to play them.
From Vandy or from Knoxville, are you saying? How close am I to Lipscomb?
From where you're from?
Yeah.
Knoxville's about a good 2.5 hours from Nashville. So, I mean, 2.5 hours to Vandy or Lipscomb or anywhere. I mean, there's Belmont's in there too. I mean, I'm
not good at geography.
No,
so.
I don't know places in North Carolina that are an hour where we're at. So, you mentioned UT. Did you grow up a UT fan? And
I did.
Okay, so what made the decision to go to Vanderbilt over the team you grew up liking?
Good question.
So Dave Serrano was the head coach at UT at the time, and his son Kyle, who's still in pro ball for, I think it's still the Houston Astros. Him and I were teammates. We were actually pretty close too. I would say in high school, he was 2 years older than me too, but I mean, it was one of those like a kind of a mentor type of thing where I kind of learned some things from him and stuff like that in high school. But I remember after my sophomore year, we lost the state championship game, and his dad, Dave, came up to me and was like, I want to get a visit planned with you soon. Like, don't be rash with your college commitment or anything like that. Like, I want you to come see us first. And so I went and saw them. They offered me, and it was one of those, I didn't want to, I grew up a UT fan, but I wanted to make the best decision for myself, put me in the best place. And so I didn't rush to a commitment or anything. And then I think later that week I went and saw Vandy and got offered by them later on. But like, I think 3 months passed and Dave had me call him, because I think that was a NCAA rule, was like he couldn't call me, but I had to call him, whatever stupid rule that is. But he was like, you've taken too long. We really need left-handed pitching too. Like, pretty much said that he was going to take my scholarship money that he was offering me and offer it to somebody else. And I was kind of just caught off guard by that. And then pretty much after that, I was just like, well, I think this is kind of just a sign to go to Vandy. And I mean, I knew that kind of all the benefits were better to go to Vandy anyway, but being a UT fan, I was kind of conflicted, I guess. And then once that happened, I was like, well, I'm going to take this as a sign.
I think it's safe to say you made the right decision. I mean, you won a World Series, and now you hold the record. You broke the wins record, which had been held since 1973 for career wins. So this might be, do you have many more Vanderbilt questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to say last Vanderbilt question, not the last Vanderbilt question. So obviously that's an awesome record. When you broke it, how did you feel? And like, what was your first emotion from breaking it?
I mean, honestly, I was pretty stoked. I was speechless, just like I kind of am now. Like, I never really thought anything about that. I guess that was never really a goal for me to go to Vandy. I guess that's also a thing with like players, is like your goals are to win a national championship and then get drafted, and, just kind of personal goals like that. But that was actually a thing too, when the draft was coming around my junior year, and I was sitting down talking to Brownie, our pitching coach, and he was like, I didn't have a great year my junior year. I was kind of fighting some back problems and stuff like that too, not making excuses. Like, I just kind of sucked that year. I was really inconsistent. But so that definitely didn't help like my draft stock, anything like that. And I was talking to Brownie, he's like, you could sign for money that, less money than you would have had if you would have had a good year. You can come back. He even brought that into my attention. He was like, you could break the wins record, that'd be a really cool thing. Have a better year, lead this team, go to Omaha, which you haven't experienced yet, and everything like that. And we had just come off of pretty much like a really heartbreaking super regional loss to Mississippi State. And so I think I took that in consideration too. And I was just like, I don't really want to end it like this. I also didn't want to go into pro ball after having such a bad year too. I felt like that being at Vandy was going to help me kind of figure some things out too. But I was just like, this way I can get my degree over with, graduate. That was a big thing for me too, because nobody else in my family had graduated. And then I graduate from a college like a university like Vandy. It's also pretty special in itself too. But
being at Vandy, the inner squads, was there anybody on the team that just had your number like every single time?
Plenty, actually, I'm sure. I know the one that comes to mind is my junior and senior year. Pat DeMarco, who was a draft eligible sophomore, so he got drafted by the Yankees. I think that's life too. 2 years in college and then get drafted. Kind of jealous, but it seemed like no matter what I did, I always ended up throwing him a cock shot and he'd hit the ball off the wall off me or anything, just something like that. And I actually got him out one time, and I was just like, I went and talked to him after. I'm like, yo, like I actually didn't throw you a cock shot one time and actually got you out. And he was like, yeah, yeah. And I go back and look at the film and it was actually a cock shot and he just missed it. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you tell me it was a cock shot? And he's like, I didn't, you were really happy. I didn't want to upset you. And I'm like, I was like, I really thought I actually threw a good pitch. Nope.
That's funny you bring up like the the goal is to get drafted. Like a lot of people think of Vanderbilt as like the 3-year kind of get in, get drafted, and you're gone. This was my one asshole question. I was told not to ask this, but I'm literally gonna lose it if I don't. So I'm glad you're not here beside us because you'd probably punch me in the face. But the career wins record, it's awesome. But is there an asterisk beside it since you did have 4 years versus a lot of the other players who went?
Honestly, there's not going to be an asterisk next to it because
you still got to win the games.
Well, yeah, there's not an asterisk next to it just because it's kind of the other guys' choices, I guess, to not come back. And I mean, nobody blames them for not coming back. They're getting offered millions of dollars for going in the first round. I mean, if they had gone 4 years, would I be the record holder? Most likely not, because I know Sonny Gray had like 27 wins in 3 years.
I know Sonny Gray went to Vandy.
I didn't either. Yeah, think about that. You can go up to Sonny Gray, Kumar, all of them, and be like, hey, y'all might be good, but suck it. Like, you don't have the record.
Well, I actually think COVID actually might have saved my records. My wins record, just because Kumar, I mean, Kumar won like 12 games his freshman year.
Yeah.
I mean, if he continues on that pace, he would break me in the 3 years that he would have been there, I'm pretty sure. So I guess I can thank COVID for one thing, leaving me in the record books. But I mean,
what'd you say?
It's just there's all those guys, all those big name guys that I'm definitely sure if they would have stayed all 4 years, then I would not be in the record books and I'd be forgotten easy.
I guess we'll never know.
I guess so.
When you were leaving Vandy and your first year in pro ball, was there like a big difference between Vandy and pro ball? Because I feel like you guys have like all the technology that pro guys use and everything like that.
That's like the can Alabama beat the Jets question right there.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm asking about him personally. If it was different.
Okay.
There definitely is a big difference. There is like some technology stuff, and I think there's a lot of teams are making sure that that technology part is definitely put into all of the teams. Like, of course, the lower you are in the organization for like rookie ball and stuff like that, the less stuff that you have. I mean, it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But everyday life, rookie ball wise, I mean, like baseball wise too, it was definitely different. Most of the time our games weren't till like 6 o'clock at night, and we still got there at like 12 or 2, something like that, and ate lunch. Just kind of sat there for like hours on end, it seemed like, and then do our throwing, conditioning, whatever, and then get ready for the game. But
that's the best job to have, though. You go to the field every single day.
That's the job. Yeah, that's the dream.
That's
right
a dream job. That's what every kid wants to do.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I mean, I'm not complaining about it, but it just seemed like it. Definitely, we were there a lot longer than what we could have been, or should have been. But it was definitely different too, because college baseball, there's importance on every game, and then you go to minor league baseball, and it kind of seems like it's just a different feeling. Like, it's more kind of personalized for everyone. Like, it's not about the team. It's about getting called up. Yeah. What are your stats? Like, just kind of stuff like that. So it just takes away the importance of the game.
So you probably run into a bunch of eye guys, don't you? Like in pro ball? You're
definitely going to run into a good handful of them. I mean, definitely the guys that I met were really cool. And it's not even that it's like they're jerks or they're just worried about themselves. It's just, I think that's just kind of the way that you have to be almost too, because if you're not putting importance on that stuff, then you're not going to be going anywhere in the minors, which is the goal of it all too. So and a lot of times there's like, I started off in Greenville, Tennessee, which is like an hour east of Knoxville. And then I went to Billings, Montana, and the Billings, Montana team, we made the playoffs. And I mean, the season's so freaking long that there was a bunch of guys too that were just like, dude, my arm hurts. I'm tired. Like, I want to go home. Like, we just had to make the playoffs, really. It's just kind of one of those things.
Like summer
It's
ball.
like summer
Sounds
ball
like
when,
summer
when
ball.
everybody's like you're almost rooting to lose. You're like, I want to go home.
It's pretty much the same. And it's like, I mean, nobody would ever tell the coaches that, but, and It's not like once you actually get on the field, it's not like you're playing and you're like purposely sucking.
Oh yeah.
But it's
But it is those moments like if you're sitting in the bullpen and someone hits a go ahead double and you're just like, son of a bitch. Like why? Like, why?
Or it's one of those you give up a go ahead home run and it's your team in the field and you're just like kind of under your breath, you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Much different atmosphere though, obviously in college. So what would you say is your like, you know what? It can be in professional ball too, but I imagine it'd be in the SEC. Your favorite place to play at on the road?
Ooh,
or least favorite?
Well, it's kind of hard if we're going just based off of, well, shit, almost anywhere on the road is in the SEC is pretty unreal.
Yeah.
The top ones that come to mind are Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. I mean, Texas A&M, their crowd's electric with just the ball.
Yeah. Did you ever have that happen to you?
I pitched there twice, and honestly, I don't remember it, but knowing me, I would not doubt that it happened.
I imagine going on the mound and like I would be sitting there thinking like, shit, that's 3 balls. It's coming up. They're about to say it. So
like I feel like I would have remembered if it for sure happened, but for some reason I don't remember it. So I'm gonna say I somehow lucked out and it didn't happen, but don't.
And you got to feel for the guy that it happens to. Like he's out there on an island, and it's like, just please throw a strike right.
I would feel bad for a freshman, especially.
What would you say? That's kind of a follow up to the atmosphere. What would you say the wildest fan moment you had or fan encounter while playing?
Oh, fan moment. Well, my freshman year, we went to LSU, and we had a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. And we had lost the first 2. So we're on the verge of getting swept. And Coors makes that a big deal too. It's like we'd never, ever get swept. Like it had been however many years before that they hadn't been swept. And like this doesn't happen to us and kind of thing. And so I wasn't starting at the time and I was coming out of the bullpen and I forget what it was. I think we were down 1, but just the whole game, after I guess like the 3rd or 4th inning is when I went down to the bullpen, and there was a fan just right there. And like at LSU, the bullpens are on the field, and the fans are right on you. Like your back is like the bench is up against the wall. The fans are like could pretty much just like talking your ear the whole time, and so. Like I never turned around and looked at the dude, but there was this one dude just harassing the absolute shit out of me. And he's like, and as soon as I start warming up, he's like, "Hey Patrick, you got a button undone. Like I'm gonna call down to the dugout and tell Corbs that you're sloppy. You shouldn't go in the game," and just like shit like that, like just stupid shit. And he was just doing it the whole time. Like even one of the upperclassmen looked at me because I was on the mound closest to the fans, and he was just like, "Do you want me to switch?" And I'm like, "No, this is honestly kind of funny. Like I'm fine." Like, and I kind of used it to my advantage, I guess, too. Like kind of as like a motivator. And I actually went in the game. I think I pitched 2 innings, snaked another dub. We ended up coming back from behind, ended up winning by 1, and I snaked a dub.
You're starting to tell yourself how many of these dubs are snakes at this point. No, I'm messing with you.
Definitely a good handful of them, though, honestly. But then after the game, Oh, I forgot this important part too. While I was warming up, he's like, I'm going to take a picture of you in your unbuttoned jersey and post it on my Instagram and show the whole world how sloppy you are, and like just something stupid. I'm just like, all right, go for it. And then after the game, I find the dude. He comes up and talks to me. He's like, hey, man, I was just messing with you. Like, good job out there and all that. And I'm just kind of like, I just want him to kind of be like, yeah, go fuck yourself. But he apologized and he was cool about it. And I mean, it's just a fan having a good time. But I actually go and look at my phone after, and the dude legitimately posted me on his Instagram and tagged me and was just kind of shitting on me for my button. I'm just like, dude, how far can you stretch this shit out?
Yeah, I have a fan. I have a fan encounter story at South Carolina.
I have one as well. You can go ahead with yours.
Have I told you this? All right, so my freshman year, we were playing at South Carolina. It was their senior night, and we were only traveling with one catcher because we had two catchers get hurt. So I was catching in between innings, and I was warming up the catcher, warming up the pitcher in between innings, and I run out there, just a mask and a glove, and all the fans sitting behind home plate, 34, you're not even a fucking catcher.
Bro, you know mine.
And so when I ran back to the dugout, head down.
Oh, yeah. Trying to just get away from it. Dude.
South Carolina fans are ruthless. They'll shit on their own players if they're playing bad.
Yeah.
Well, there's not many fans in the D2 world, but we went down to Florida and played St. Leo. And we're getting it's 6-0 the first inning. We got one out, and they're like, Mitchell, go get loose. I go down to the pen, and we had those tight jerseys I was talking about earlier. I had that on. So I'm running down there, and there's a crowd right by the bullpen. And the second I ran down, I think you've heard this before, they said, oh, shit, it's Jabba Chamberlain. And I said, no. And then they were like, hey, 29, you need a cheeseburger? I know you want a cheeseburger. And so I would say is probably, at least he just called you sloppy. He didn't call you Jabba Chamberlain.
I mean, I feel like they probably could have. But if they were ever going to call me Jabba Chamberlain, it would have been my freshman year. So
that is a time period when we all have a little pudge going.
You know anything about the Luke Smith kid from Louisville, the kid that said "fuck you" on TV?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard he's a good kid.
Would you ever do something like that? Like your demeanor on the mound?
Me? I mean, kind of. You had to really kind of fire me up. I feel like I remember. I think my sophomore year, we were playing UIC, Illinois Chicago at home. It was fucking cold. It was early in the season. Their second baseman was like their 3-hole hitter. And I think like his second at bat, I threw a fastball high and in. And it was a strike too, like it was top part of the zone, but he stuck his elbow out and he tried to sell it and go down the first base. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? He stuck his arm out, and the umpire ended up calling him back. And I was like, yeah, get your fucking ass back in the box. Like that's one of those things. Energy. And he's just looking at me like throwing his hands up. And I'm like, shut the fuck up and get back in. Like, and I ended up striking him out the next pitch, and I'm jawing at him again after that. And I guess he kind of got me back like the next AB, kind of, but kind of not. Like, I think it was a first pitch fastball. He ambushed it and hit a line drive back at me off my ass. I get the ball, but I get him out. And so I'm just kind of smiling the whole time. And he was staring back at me. And I'm like, even when you fucking hit me, you can't get out. Like, I'm just still jawing at him. Like, I think that's the biggest one I ever remember from, really jawing at somebody. But
I wish I would have known that before I asked the 4-year question, because I didn't know there was some fire in your ass like that. now I'm really glad we're on Zoom.
You really had to get me in a mood, I feel like, to kind of really get me to chirp at other players while I was on the mound.
Playing in the Cape, what's that like? Because I feel like, what percent of players do you think play in the Cape? Like 4% of college players?
Not many bad ones.
Yeah. So what's that life like? Because you had a host family. You stayed up there the whole summer.
Yeah. Well, I left a little early. I actually had something up with my arm that summer, so I was only there for a month. But it was It was really cool. It was great weather as soon as we go up there. As soon as I got up there, it was kind of early in the summer, but like really comfortable. And it actually got kind of cold at night. And I'm like, what the hell? It's like June. Like, why am I putting on a fucking sweatshirt? But the host family that I stayed with was really, really awesome. I think it was their first year doing it, but they did a great job. I stayed with two other guys from Cincinnati, I think. I think they both went to Cincinnati. But it was a great time. Competition was unreal, as you would expect. I think I did okay. I didn't do great.
Are there a lot of fans that show up to those games?
There was a pretty good amount. Yeah, honestly, like, and if you think about it, it's just kind of weird because like you're playing, the fields up there aren't great.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like high school. Like I think our field at Bourne was like a community college field, and it was I mean, there's nothing like they're not terrible, but they're nothing special. Like
they're not SEC.
Well, they're definitely not SEC, but there was nothing wrong with them. I mean, they were definitely playable on, but like you would think I feel like if somebody outside looking in, you're like, this is a prestigious summer league, you would think the fields are unreal, and they're just not, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that was my first thing is like, it's so weird how in the Cape they have those fields that are just ass. Yeah. And I feel like the grass is way too long too, yes. Right? So,
yeah, no, it's like long grass. It's like if you hit a ball into the outfield and it's rolling, it'll like somebody hits an absolute piss missile off you, you would think it goes to the wall and it stops like halfway. It's just it's really weird.
So, it can be in the Cape, college, high school, whatever level. Who has been your favorite player to play with? And then follow that up with your least favorite player to play with.
Wow.
Question, Mitch.
I know he's nervous about the least favorite one.
Dude, I haven't thought about this at all, honestly. Are you saying like, I assume you mean from personality wise and like playing wise altogether?
Clubhouse guy. It doesn't have to be like a stud at all.
Mm-hmm. I'm a clubhouse guy. Yeah, we're clubhouse guys. I'm a big clubhouse guy.
I think the first one that kind of comes to my mind, like personality wise, is I don't know. Like I spent 4 years in Vandy, and I'm not even thinking of a Vandy guy. I feel kind of bad, but like up in the Cape, there was this third baseman from UConn named Willie On, and he was absolutely just like hilarious, like kind of stoner type kid that just like always had a good time, but he played like fucking Pete Rose too. Like he was unreal. Like he's, like Pete Rose would like legit like belly flop in the bags when he's sliding and stuff like that. He was that kind of kid, like just an electric player, like kind of fired you up, just funny. But honestly, dude, I don't really know of. Like I'll kind of not answer your question, but answer it at the same time. Like I played with Jake Mangum up in Bourne my freshman year too, and he's one of those kids that you love him on your team, but you hate him when you're playing against him.
I know a lot of people like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like
you answered it. So if we ever get Jake on, we'll let him know that you said you hate his guts. No, but I've had a lot of dudes on that I've played with that definitely fit that criteria of God. If we were playing against him, I would hate his guts.
Yeah, like I like Jake a lot. I mean, he's a good kid and he does whatever. He obviously can hit and he, being the SEC hits leader, but he was
a beast.
He just it's one of those that like he's firing up his team, but when you're on the opposite side of the field, you're just like,
what a fucking
pissed off. You're just pissed off and you take it out on him. You're like, man, fucking stop that. Like that.
Speaking of playing with people and seeing other people play, since you've been in pro ball, like, is there like a talent difference between like foreign guys, like Dominicans, Puerto Rican players, and American players that you've seen?
I don't know about talent difference. Honestly, I would just say like you can just definitely tell that there's like they're more raw.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would definitely say that, like with my guess, that we have the better opportunities for like coaching and stuff, and like getting a lot of help from, you know, summer ball teams, baseball academies, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel like that they might be a little bit more raw, and that's when, you know, the coaching and the minors and stuff comes into hand.
Being in the World Series, what kind of gifts did you guys get?
How much free stuff did y'all get?
I feel like
in the
you
World
guys got a
Series?
shit ton of stuff for being in there.
Honestly, I had seen that stuff in the past too, and I was pretty hyped for it. And then we got there, and it's, you know, I'm gonna sound like such an asshole saying this. Like, I know you guys D2 guys and stuff would be like, oh, I fucking love that. Like, but I guess getting spoiled with being at Vandy and getting all the Nike gear and stuff that we get, like being a Nike school, Nike sent us like a backpack and a bunch of like 3 or 4 t-shirts, like a pair of shorts, some like sunglasses and stuff like that. And then like I think like Florida State got like some shoes and some additional stuff on top of it. Like it was pretty cool stuff, but like from what I remember from years past, I thought they got a whole lot more. And it's just like I said, I'm going to sound like an asshole, but I mean, I'm grateful for it, but I definitely thought we were getting more. But we definitely, throughout the year, between just like our normal stuff and everything like that, we were not shorthanded.
When we went to the World Series, what did we get? A wallet?
So we had a wallet, a drawstring bag, of course,
sunglasses,
fake sunglasses with the World Series thing on the side, and then also what was the last thing? There was one more thing in there.
We got like 6 packs of sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds, yeah. And I remember our coaches didn't even get that. Like it was just for players, and I didn't want the wallet. So one of our coaches, he was like, "Hey, can I get that wallet?" So that's how little of stuff we got at the D2 World Series. Like coaches were asking us for some of the stuff we got.
See, I'm such an asshole.
No, hey, you deserve it, obviously, and we deserve what we get, which is the sunglasses and
I don't know about that.
And good memories.
I don't know about that.
Me and Mitchum being former pitchers, I pitched in high school. Mitchum pitched in high school and in college. Have you ever had to take a shit while you were pitching?
Great question.
I feel like this is a Lamar Jackson inspired.
Yes. Since that's happened, we've asked every guest if they've ever had to poop in a clutch situation. So has that happened?
Clutch situation, definitely not. But this is what almost drove like just random. So my freshman year, for fall break, we took a trip up to Navy, like up to DC. Worst fucking trip of my life. Would never ever do it again. Never wish it upon anybody else. I would tell Corbs this to his face too. So for fall break, we didn't know we were doing anything. Corbs, like after practice Friday, is like, pack your shit, go back to your dorm, pack your shit within 30 minutes to 45 minutes and get on the bus. We're going up to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And we're like, okay. Spent the whole night driving up. Didn't get there till like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was 4 guys to a room, so we were sharing beds, which like I know is probably a normal thing for a lot of places in general, but with us, like normally it's like two people to a room, so you get your own bed. Couldn't fucking sleep on the bus, so like you try to get in an hour or 2 of sleep in the bed before we had to wake up at 6 o'clock for breakfast and then go to practice at Navy's field. So we did that, practice at Navy's field. We spent the rest of the day going on tours of DC, and that didn't stop till like 10 o'clock at night. And so we had been going with like 3 hours of sleep, like the whole day. I mean, every time we got on the bus to go to like the next destination for the tour, everyone was just passed out. But so we did that, repeated it the next day. And then so like that last day, I think it was Sunday, we were scrimmaging, we were inter-squatting. And just to be blunt, my stomach had been fucked up for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I'm a freshman, like I had just gotten in trouble like that day, like trying to sleep in as much as possible. I didn't get on the bus till like 15 minutes before, and like they had like a continental breakfast set up for us. And so I just grabbed like a fucking protein bar, got on the bus, and Corbs like saw me. And he comes up to me during stretching and he's like, that's some high school shit. Like, get your ass up out of bed. Like, you need to figure out whether you deserve to, or if you want to be here next year. And so like the transfer speech, everybody gets some sort of transfer threat.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much in their 4 years. And that was my one. Like, he used to do this at Bueller all the time. He used to fuck with Bueller and put like transfer papers in Bueller's locker all the time, from the rumors that I've heard. But that was my thing. And like, although I knew I was going to get it at some point, it still rattled the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Because I was a freshman, first time really ever getting in trouble. And then we get to the scrimmage. It was kind of one of those, like, make a game like whenever your number's called, get hot and get ready to go. My team was hitting, and I'm like, dude, I gotta shit. I ran back, ran down, ran back, like it was quick. And I get back and Brownie's yelling at me saying that I missed my chance to pitch.
Wow.
And he's like, you fucking missed your chance to pitch. Like, you're just sit down here for the rest of the game. You're not going to pitch. I'm like, okay. And so it gets to the 9th inning and he's like, Raby, get hot. And I'm like, okay, so I am pitching. I get 2 quick outs and then I give up like 5 runs. I gave up 5 runs with 2 outs, couldn't get the last out. Brownie is yelling at me on the field, like, that's what you fucking get, like, that's what you fucking deserve, like, all this kind of shit. And Navy is waiting to use their field. Like, we're like 45 minutes over the timeline that we said we would be done. And Navy's just sitting there watching me get my ass chewed out by everyone. And so after I finally got the 3rd out, and we get back to the hotel before we go to like shower and pack up our things and go back to Nashville. And Corbs is like talking to us after practice like he always would, and is like, you know, Raby, like, he's recapping everything, goes over everyone. He's like, Raby, you got what you deserved. Like, hopefully you'll learn from this type and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't want to fucking be here anymore. I want to leave. Like, I think if our Black and Gold series was like a week later, and if I hadn't have pitched well, then I don't know what I would have done, honestly. I was mentally broke down after that.
I used to have dreams with that, like, or nightmares, so to speak, with that exact scenario where I'm either up to bat or have to pitch and I shit and I miss the opportunity. I can't believe that actually happened. Like that happened to you. I've been living dreams, or you lived my dreams out. Way earlier when you were talking about the sharing beds. Now, typically we do, but fun fact, my senior year, since we're big, they didn't want us. I guess they just didn't want a freshman like cooped up in bed with us. Yeah. So we had the bachelor pad. So we did get the special treatment of having our own bed. So that's
pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing that ever happened to us.
My last question: You've been growing up around sports your whole life. Are you a Tennessee Titans fan?
I am.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's all good. I saw it coming.
Give us your prediction for this weekend's games and your Super Bowl prediction.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think Green Bay should easily win.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to snow in Lambeau. I'm pretty sure. The Rams defense is unreal, but I just think that I don't know if Donald's healthy. I think he
said he was going to play.
They said he was in good spirits at practice.
In good spirits. Oh, shit, whatever the fuck that means. But I mean, he's going to make an impact on the game if he's playing. But especially after watching the Titans play in the snow up there, I think, if it snows, I think they're going to whoop the Rams just like they did the Titans, because there was just an obvious difference in Rodgers playing in the snow versus another quarterback who's not used to it. And that goes for their whole team too. But I think they cover, and I think they win.
Okay.
What's the other
smile? Quite like it. I'm glad you came on and said the word cover. That just brought so much joy to my face. They're actually we're watching the game picks right now, and they're doing the Ravens-Bills game. And it seems like they're heavy Ravens.
Yeah, which I'm scared about because I also like the Ravens.
So
dude,
I'd like to cover in that game.
Bills are -2.5.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. That one's the one I'm probably the most unsure of this weekend, because it's one of those. The Ravens are playing well. They haven't lost in like over a month, I guess, or whatever, but they were playing dog shit teams during that time. I knew that they were going to beat the Titans, even though I'm a Titans fan. It's just the Titans defense is terrible. I think it's kind of a toss-up. I want the Bills to win. I like the Bills a lot. I like what Josh Allen's doing over there, and I think they're a fun team to watch. It's supposed to snow up there too, I think.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson made the comment about how he hadn't played in snow. But he could be baiting whoever into that, I guess.
We're a Josh Allen stan podcast.
Yep.
We are big fans of Josh Allen.
I think he played unreal this year. He helped my fantasy team to a championship, so I'll go with that. But honestly, I'm not confident in either one. Honestly, I think the Ravens defense could be a problem, but whoever wins, I think it's whoever's covering. Obviously, I don't see it being a 1 or 2 point game, but fan wise, I'm going to go with the Bills.
So stay away from it. And the under?
Sounds like it.
I've heard some people talking about the over and liking it, but I think I like the under.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first. So are we going to have a State Farm Super Bowl?
Are we going to have a State Farm Super Bowl?
Are we going to have Chiefs Packers?
Dude, I don't know. I like that. I mean, the Chiefs are so fucking good. They should whoop everybody, but they don't ever play a full game.
Yeah.
And that's what the only scary thing is, like, they've been able to turn it on when they need to and win, but what fucking happens if they don't do that? Like, if they try and they actually can't.
Right.
Like, I definitely think those are the best two teams. I don't really see the the Packers not making it, especially since the whole, if they just went out, they have to go through, they play at Lambeau every time. That's a huge advantage for them, even though I don't know how many fans can be there or whatnot.
Tom Brady's played in snow before, though.
Dude, Tom Brady. I think the Bucks. If we're going into tomorrow's games, I think the Bucks win. They're definitely going to cover, in my opinion. If they're going to lose, they're going to lose by 3.
Okay.
Which I guess would be a push, or is it 3.5? I don't know, but I think the Bucks win, because there's no way that Tom Brady loses to the same team 3 times in a season.
Exactly. That's what we've been saying.
I just think that's automatic, and
the only thing
I like the Chiefs to win, but I think the Browns are going to cover +10.
I like that.
The only thing to put into account on the Bucks game is Tom Brady is old, and old people and their bones in cold weather can't really keep up. So that's the only thing I would say, but I got Bucks covering.
Think about if Drew Brees has to go to Lambeau with his ribs.
With his old bruised up. All right. This is last question.
Last question.
Last question. Are rib injuries real?
Why wouldn't they be?
Have you ever had a rib injury?
No.
Our producer had a rib injury.
Yeah, our producer is right here.
Is that your point?
Well, Drew Brees had it, and our producer, he snowboards, Trevor.
He claimed he had a rib injury.
Rib injuries, but I saw him walking around fine, so I'm starting to question the validity.
Yeah.
So
just like weathermen.
And weathermen aren't real either. Those are the same people that have rib injuries. No, that was last question.
All right.
What's next for Patrick Raby?
Are you talking about today or what?
You can give me
just in general.
You can give us your whole life.
Yeah.
Anything.
As
much as you want to.
I guess go get some lunch. I don't know. I'm kind of hungry.
Okay, getting lunch. I like that. This has been awesome. I had a great time. I'm so glad you didn't like cuss me out and like cut off.
No, never.
Lyle had me nervous that that you were gonna hate my guts. So I'm glad they were leaving things as friends. Can I say that?
Friend of the pod.
We have
Friends of the pod for sure.
have Stock and Patrick Raby now.
We do always.
Till
the end.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I want to thank you for having me on. It was definitely fun.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out your Twitter and your Instagram real quick.
Yeah, do it.
right.
Follow him on Twitter, Patrick Raby _29, and on Instagram
Patrick _Raby 29.
Patrick _Raby 29,
There it
and
is.
then Instagram Patrick _Raby. Go follow him. Flood his DMs.
Show him some love. Let's go FTR community.
Buy some Reds gear.
Buy
now.
some Reds gear right now.
For sure.
Andy, go doors.
Go doors.
Go doors.
Doors.
Roll doors.
Anchor down. There we go. I'll throw that in there for them.
Thank you,
Awesome.
brother.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Talk soon, hopefully.
Yes, sir.